Cogent as adjective, logically convincing and clear, relevant and well supported by evidence. The lawyer presented a cogent argument that persuaded the jury to reach a verdict in favor of her client. The author made a cogent case for why we need to take climate change seriously in her latest book. The scientist's cogent explanation of the experiment's results helped the students to understand the concept better. The CEO's cogent speech at the conference impressed the audience and earned her a standing ovation. The politician's cogent proposal to address the issue of income inequality gained support from both sides of the aisle. Equitable as adjective, based on justice and fairness, fair and impartial. The judge made an equitable decision that fairly divided the assets in the divorce. The company's equitable hiring practices ensured that everyone had an equal chance to be hired. The manager's equitable treatment of all employees resulted in a positive work environment.
The organization's equitable distribution of resources helped to address income inequality in the community.
The professor graded the papers in an equitable manner, ensuring that all students were evaluated fairly. Facetious as adjective, lighthearted or whimsical in tone, intended to entertain or make people laugh, playful or jokingly humorous, often in a way that is not meant to be taken seriously. His facetious comment during the serious meeting was not appreciated. She made a facetious remark about the politician, which caused some laughter. The comedian's facetious humor made the audience laugh throughout the show. The student's facetious attitude towards his studies resulted in poor grades. The reporter's facetious tone in her article was not appropriate for the topic. Mawkish as adjective, often to the point of being cloying or sickly, something that is sentimental in an exaggerated or false way. The greeting card's mawkish message of love and devotion made the recipient cringe with embarrassment. The author's attempt to create a heartwarming ending to the story resulted in a mawkish and predictable conclusion. The singer's mawkish rendition of the national anthem drew ridicule and criticism from the crowd. The art exhibit's mawkish paintings of kittens and puppies failed to impress the art critics. The movie was criticized for its mawkish sentimentality, which many viewers found overly manipulative and insincere. Melancholy as adjective, a state or condition of feeling sad, depressed, or dejected, someone who is pensive, introspective, or lost in thought, often in a sad or contemplative way. The old photographs in the attic filled her with a bittersweet sense of melancholy as she reminisced about the past. The empty house had a melancholy air about it, as if it were still mourning the loss of its previous occupants. She was struck by a melancholy feeling as she watched the sun set over the ocean. The melancholy strains of the violin added to the already somber mood of the funeral. He couldn't shake off the melancholy that had been weighing on him for days, despite his best efforts to stay positive. Mellifluous as adjective, honey-like, sweet or smooth. The music was so mellifluous that it put the baby to sleep. The mellifluous sound of the harp filled the room. Her voice was so mellifluous that everyone listened to her. The bird's mellifluous singing calmed her down. The cello's mellifluous tones evoked strong emotions in the audience. Noisome as adjective, harmful, poisonous or toxic, having a strong and unpleasant odor. The noisome odor of the garbage made it difficult to breathe. The noisome fumes from the factory were polluting the air and causing health problems. The noisome swamp was a breeding ground for mosquitoes and other disease-carrying insects. The noisome condition of the public restroom made it unpleasant for anyone to use. The noisome reputation of the town as a crime-ridden area deterred tourists from visiting. Splenetic as adjective, irritable, bad-tempered, or easily annoyed, marked by or characterized by anger or ill humor. The boss's splenetic outburst frightened his subordinates. The splenetic comments of the critic showed his bias and lack of objectivity. The splenetic reaction of the audience to the performer's mistake was unexpected. The splenetic tone of the email offended the recipient. The splenetic behavior of the driver towards other drivers caused a road rage incident. Cadaverous as adjective, having the appearance of a dead body, especially a pale, emaciated, and corpse-like appearance, relating to a corpse or dead body. The old man's face was cadaverous, with sunken eyes and hollow cheeks. The patient's skin was cadaverous, with a pale and sickly complexion. The abandoned house had a cadaverous look, with cobwebs and dust covering every surface. The actor used makeup to create a cadaverous appearance for their role as a zombie in the movie.
The sound of the wind howling through the empty streets gave the city a cadaverous feel.
Exorbitant as adjective, extremely high or unreasonable in amount or cost, far beyond what is reasonable or fair. The rent for the apartment was exorbitant, given its small size and location. The exorbitant price of the concert tickets made it difficult for many fans to attend. The company's CEO received an exorbitant bonus despite the firm's poor performance. The cost of healthcare in the United States is often exorbitant compared to other countries. The restaurant's menu had exorbitant prices for its dishes. Indigent as adjective, characterized by poverty or destitution, extremely poor, lacking basic necessities of life. The homeless man was indigent and in need of assistance. The charity provides aid to indigent families in the community. The indigent patients cannot afford to pay for medical treatment. The government provides aid to indigent citizens. The indigent children in the community are in need of education and support. Lachrymose as adjective, expressing or causing sadness or grief, tearful or tending to produce tears. The Lachrymose movie made everyone in the theater cry. The speaker's lachrymose story touched the hearts of everyone in the audience. She became lachrymose when she thought about her deceased parents. The funeral was a lachrymose event for all who attended. His lachrymose behavior made it clear that he was not handling the situation well. Maladroit as adjective, clumsy or awkward in manner or movement, ineffective or inefficient in action or execution. He was a well-meaning person, but his maladroit handling of the situation only made things worse. The chef's maladroit knife skills resulted in unevenly cut vegetables and meats. Her maladroit attempt at humor fell flat and only served to offend her audience. The new employee's maladroit attempts to navigate the complex computer system caused delays and frustration for the entire team. The clumsy and maladroit handling of the delicate antique vase resulted in its destruction. Obstreperous as adjective, disorderly or unruly in behavior or conduct, noisy, boisterous, or rowdy in a disruptive manner. The obstreperous crowd refused to disperse and continued to make noise. The obstreperous child disrupted the entire classroom. The obstreperous customer caused a scene at the restaurant. The obstreperous protesters clashed with police, resulting in several arrests. The obstreperous behavior of the party guests led to the police being called. Pellucid as adjective, limpid, crystal clear or free from cloudiness or obscurity, transparent, clear, and easy to see through. The graphic design of the brochure was pellucid, with clean lines and simple colors. The professor's explanation of the complex theory was pellucid and concise. The writer's style was pellucid and elegant, making his ideas accessible to all readers. The water in the lake was so pellucid that you could see the fish swimming beneath the surface. The speaker's pellucid language helped the audience understand the key points of the presentation. Puissant as adjective. Formidable or imposing, inspiring awe or respect through one's presence or accomplishments, possessing great power, strength, or influence. The king was considered to be a puissant ruler, feared by his enemies. The company was known for its puissant marketing strategies. The puissant athlete won numerous awards and accolades throughout their career. The superhero possessed puissant abilities, which they used to save the world. The puissant dictator was eventually overthrown by a popular uprising. Refractory as adjective, difficult to control or manage, resistant to change or modification. The refractory material can withstand high temperatures. Her refractory attitude made it difficult for her to work with others. The disease proved to be refractory to treatment. The child's refractory behavior prompted the teacher to call the parents. The company struggled with a refractory workforce that resisted change. Reprobate as adjective, morally condemned or disapproved of, unprincipled or depraved. His reprobate behavior caused him to lose his job. The church leaders denounced the comedian's reprobate jokes. She was known for hanging out with a reprobate crowd. The teacher had to deal with a few reprobate students in her class. The politician's reprobate actions led to his downfall. Saturnine as adjective, having a slow, sluggish, and gloomy temperament, having a sullen or melancholy disposition or appearance. The CEO's saturnine demeanor suggested that he was not to be trifled with. The dark saturnine clouds overhead signaled the arrival of an impending storm. The movie's saturnine soundtrack perfectly captured the melancholic mood of the story. The actor's saturnine expression conveyed a deep sense of sadness and loss. The writer's saturnine prose was both haunting and evocative. Sedulous as adjective, diligent and persistent in one's efforts or work, showing hard work and careful attention to detail. The sedulous student studied for hours every day. The sedulous researcher spent years collecting data for the study. The sedulous employee always arrived early and stayed late. The sedulous artist spent months perfecting her painting. The sedulous entrepreneur worked tirelessly to grow her business.
Level up your English. Master vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs with fun quizzes. Translate meanings into 104 languages. Download now. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel.